I definitely have like chili stains on this hoodie. Oh well. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. If you're new here, if you're not new, welcome back. You're the realist. If you are new, please do subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Across all social media, my handle is at I am CCsuarez. That Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok. I don't have anything else though. So feel free to follow me on those. I'm trying to build up my TikTok right now, even though I feel like a buffoon on there, but definitely follow me over there. If you'd like to watch any of my other commentary videos or even true crime videos, go ahead and click that little icon up there and you can put that on your watch later. And if you would like to see my merch, my P.O. box, my favorite creators, the lip gloss I'm wearing, the tool I use to make my hair look like this. I mean, basically anything and everything is down in the description box down below. Now that that's over with. All right, guys, so this one today is going to be a doozy, not in a good way. I mean, in a good way from like content. From like a content perspective, so as you can tell, I'm super cozy right now. This is gonna be a long one, which I know y'all love, and it's just it's a lot. I already have my notebook ready to take notes because it's not good. And also I have my wine, so I'm sorry I'm gonna get a little bit spicy, not like too spicy, but I'm gonna get a little bit spicy. 2 drinks to hydrate me because this is so long. Okay, are you ready? You're probably like, Chelsea, we get it, be quiet, calm down. Alrighty, Rudy.
It's not that they obviously you have to work hard for your money, but they worked hard for a period to make their money then work for them. And I think that's the biggest difference between like real estate and this. Like, yeah, when you started, and this is where people get tripped up. I forgot what the phrase is, but like they always say this, right? You have to be willing to work like a dog for like no money. I'm gonna butcher the quote. Like, you have to be really willing to work super hard for no money so that one day you could make a lot of money without working hard. Do you know what phrase?
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. It's well, I don't know. I might be thinking of a different quote, but very similar. Like, a lot of people say in the beginning of your business, you'll do a lot of work you're not getting paid for, but while you're gonna get paid for a lot of work that you're not doing.
Okay, so I don't disagree with what they're saying, but as always, that doesn't really apply to an MLM, right? So obviously when you start like any side hustle, that's usually what it starts out as, a side hustle, because you're, doing it on the side. That's kind of like the joke, you have your, 9 to 5 and then your 5 to 9. It's your side hustle. It sometimes starts out as just a hobby. I did YouTube for 4 years before I actually started making like money. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. I mean, I was making, good God, a pathetic amount. I want to say like $100 every 4 or 5 months, like hardly $200 to $300 a year, and until fall last year, which is amazing, right? But the thing is that the quotes and sentiments and narratives that usually apply to side hustles or businesses don't typically apply or even apply in the same way to MLM. So, and again, it's always a different, I'm sure I'm going to repeat this a million times, but it's always a different story before you join to then when you're in. They tell you, oh, well, you can make, $3,000 a month right away, which in reality, that's most likely not going to happen. And then, or anything like that is most likely never going to happen. But then even further than that, they say, well, oh, you have to, work for free, and you have to work, for nothing at first. You have to build this up and blah, blah, blah. And to play devil's advocate here, that kind of is how, sales is. That's why a lot of places that are sales driven, in the sales department, what they'll do is they'll have a like 3-month probation period, if you want to call it that. And you'll get, usually the first month is like your training. A lot of times it's like all training, and then you're like cut loose and able to do stuff on your own. But you usually have what's called a ramp up bonus, so that you're not just, getting paid nothing, and you have that and your draw. And a lot of times like that'll really work out. And then by the time that 3 months is up, you usually have, a little bit of, a pipeline and people to follow up with and things like that. And you're okay, basically. But of course, that doesn't really make sense with an MLM. Also, I forgot to mention the title of this IGTV, because I won't be able to show it because of the girl's name is right under it. The title of this IGTV is How We Used Other People's Doubt and Hate to Fuel Our Success. So that's great.
And a lot of people don't see that because they don't realize, like, in the very beginning, you have to work through that and you have to show that value to people. So like, I think about it all the time, especially in your situation. I see it happen all the time. People join, their spouses are like, you're spending too much time on your phone, you know, you're not watching TV with me, like you're always distracted, you're always on your phone, you're not present, blah, 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 blah. And they let that get to them because obviously they just started their business. They haven't built their brand. They haven't built trust with their audience. They have a long way to go as an entrepreneur. And they give up, they throw in the towel a month in because they feel like they're upsetting their significant other. They feel like they're upsetting their parents, or they feel like they're disappointing people, when if they would have just kept pushing forward a little bit longer, their whole circumstance could have changed. And I remember for you, you would get on calls and you'd be like, my husband's mad at me right now, but I don't care. Like, I'm getting on this call because one day he's going to be thanking me. And sure enough, you know, like, imagine how different your life would have looked.
Yeah, it would. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. And I tell people that all the time. We talk about this on our calls all the time. I don't want to think about the alternative of what if I didn't do this. I don't want to think about, like, what if I don't work one day? What if I don't, whatever? Like, no, I'm not going back.
Again, this doesn't really apply to an MLM. So outside of an MLM, yes, you are going to need to make sacrifices. For instance, when I was working full-time in inside sales and doing YouTube full-time, like last year, I did YouTube full-time and worked full-time, except for the 2 months where I was laid off due to COVID closures and all that. But I put up a video, at least 3 videos a week, anywhere from like 3 to 5, and almost didn't miss an upload. Like, it was crazy. Sometimes I would put up 2 videos in one day. It was insane. But I even told Tony, I was like, listen, I'm going to try to schedule this out so that I'm, you know, filming and editing, you know, when you're at work, you know, if you're working, which he wasn't working the night shift, and we had that conversation. So you need to have that conversation with your spouse so that they aren't just like, you're ignoring me, like, I need you. Clearly, like, why is this little side hustle that isn't doing shit more important than me right now? That would be very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. And that's why Amway goes after couples. But you need to have that conversation with them. However, with an MLM, I can only imagine how frustrating that would be, especially with like the culty aspect of it too. And that's why, no offense to these girls, but that's why I don't know their personal lives, but that's why I do think we see a lot of MLMers who separate from their spouse or their boyfriend, or who are single. The husband or spouse or wife or whoever can't take it because it's just too much for them, or they somehow get their spouse into it. And then she also said, when you're building a business, when you're building a brand, when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, you are not building a brand. Monat is not your brand. You are not building a business. It's not your business. And you are not starting out as an entrepreneur. You are a 1099 employee. That's it. Not an entrepreneur. No, that's not what you are. And I could understand like building a brand, as in like, for instance, I've turned down multiple sponsorships because it's just like, I'm sorry, that doesn't really fit with my brand, like me as a person. And so I could understand if that's what they were saying. But in my mind, I don't think that's what they're saying. I think she's actually saying like building a client base, like building a brand. Like, ugh. It's not your brand. You're not making the products. It's not your brand. Which I understand there's some brands that are like outsourcing stuff, but you're not handling any of that at all. You're not handling customer service. You have no control over anything at all.
It's not happening, you know?
This is the quote. In order to get paid without doing work first, you have to work without getting paid. Yes. Thank you, Bianca. I was like, I butchered everything. So my situation was different, you know, on the contrary.
Okay, so the quote that she just said, in order to get paid without doing work, first you have to work without being paid, or without getting paid, whatever. And that's talking about residual income or passive income. Usually they say residual income though. Now that quote does apply to residual income. For instance, I know I always use me as an example, but I'm putting in the work right now and putting up this video. And then once it's up, I don't have to do anything with it. Like, yeah, I'll go in and answer comments, whatever, sometimes, but like, I don't have to do anything with it then. And then that video keeps making me money. They can never stop working unless you are like Jacqueline Ortega, who is the top of Monat, and she has so many people who are also at the top rank below her on her team, like directly below her. And then those people have a bunch of people who are also the top rank right below them. It is insane. But the thing is that she can't get all of that money from the work they do unless she meets her PV bonus or goal or whatever requirement, which realistically she can just buy a bunch of stuff every month because she make millions and millions of dollars. However, that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about these little girls.
About this all the time. My mom, I love her, but it's very easy for your parents to believe their own insecurities onto you, and then you don't realize it. But as you grow up, a lot of the things that you struggle with and a lot of the insecurities you have are a result of your
Parents.
She did what she did, just like I did what I did, and she was like, I'm gonna prove.
Okay, so right now she's saying that it wasn't her spouse that wasn't supportive. It was her family, her mom and her dad or whoever. And I can kind of understand that, not like too much. But for instance, my mom and dad did not understand what I was doing when I started a YouTube channel, and they still kind of don't understand how I make money from it. So when I told them that I went full time with it, they were like, weren't you already doing that? And then, I talked more with them about like getting sponsorships lined up and, AdSense money and, merch and stuff like that, right? So then they kind of understood it better. Either way, they were still proud of me. And my mom even said, because I was like, are y'all gonna say anything? And my mom was like, it's not that we're not very proud of you. We are. We're just old and we don't get it. So I wouldn't say it's someone's insecurities, because I can understand kind of where she's coming from, or where I think she's coming from, where she's saying like they, didn't know about this, or, and I can get that because when my parents were younger, you didn't have people, earning money on the internet, right? And a lot of times they don't realize how lucrative that can be. However, once again, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about an MLM. We're talking about a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes and MLMs specifically have been around forever, since our great-grandparents were around. Well, grandparents, depending on how old you are. But since my grandparents were around in the 20s and 30s, it's not new. It's not new at all. So saying that it's from like a lack of understanding, or which she's going to say in a second, or an insecurity, no, that has nothing to do with it. We're not talking about projection here. Now let's move on to why people quit MLM, specifically Monat. Are you ready? Everyone take a sip. I was born ready.
There are people who quit because one, you can't fail at this company unless you didn't try. And every single person in me and B's downline, B is my like upline, oh my god, my kids, B is my upline, so like all our teams are the same, right? Everybody's on my team is on her team. I know that both of our teams, every single person who has ever joined, if they're not making money at this point, if you texted them, they'd say it's because I didn't try. And it's because they know that we tried. They know us. They know we tried to help them, right? And if they don't work, if you don't do the work, you're not going to make the money. So I promise none of our girls are those girls with Twitter fingers talking crap about the business. But don't listen to those people. Ask somebody who is actually doing it. Ask somebody
if you were in Monat and you did try, you really tried, and you didn't make money, like the money that they promote, and you quit, comment down below. Comment down below. What she's saying, let's just break it down real quick. Y'all know I'm going crazy with my pen. You can't fail unless you don't try. The over 90% of people who make less than like $4,000 in Monat, that bottom tier, I'm sure they tried. Like that just wouldn't add up. Those numbers just don't add up. If you aren't making money, it's because you didn't try. What? Don't get me wrong. There are probably a percentage of people who are like, oh, nope. Like I can't do this. Like, no, like I'm not doing this. But also we need to look at that then and analyze that and say, okay, well, were the proper expectations set? Probably not. Because if someone is manipulated under the guise of, oh, you can do this within like 4 minutes a day, let's be realistic, within pockets of time, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there a day, like 4 times a day. Okay, that's 2 hours, whatever. I'm sure everyone can make that work with cutting out 2 hours of sleep. And then saying like, you don't have to have sales experience, all that, like that's different. If you recruit someone and you're only able to recruit them because you misled them and then they fail, that's not on them, that's on you, okay? That's just like if I close a sale and then that person cancels because I misled them, that's on me, that's not on them. And then the cherry on top. People with Twitter fingers, I'm assuming she means like people typing all angry and fast, basically trolls, talking crap. Don't ask someone who failed, ask someone who is doing it and who is successful at it. Go listen to someone who is smarter. The thing is, though, is that you don't have to ask someone who's in it and someone who's successful at it. You can just look at their Instagram story. Now, if you want to hear from people who actually like did try and got out and failed or gave up, then either look in the comments below or look at any of my MLM horror story videos. There's usually at least 2 Monat stories in each one. Like, it's just so condescending. Talk to someone smarter. Just because you make money in an MLM doesn't mean that you're smart. Just because you make money in an MLM doesn't mean that it's not a scam. Just because you make money in an MLM doesn't mean it's not a pyramid scheme and that it's not a cult, because it sure as fuck is a cult. These are all my own opinions. Don't sue me.
It's so funny. Me and B are always on the same the same freaking wavelength. But people who don't agree with you, or like they're pushing on you, like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared, like, these are my worries. They're not necessarily like telling you that you can't do it. They're scared because they don't think they could do it, right? And so they're pushing that on you. And it's not always rude, or it's not always like a hater. Sometimes it's like they're really just worried, but they're uneducated, you know? And so that's how I took it, because my parents are the same. My dad was the same when I started real estate. My dad was like, okay, but like, there's no benefits in real estate. It's like, dude, if I make millions of dollars, what do I need to worry about cheap benefits for? I can pay however much it is, right? I can afford benefits through whatever else I can get it through, right? So it doesn't matter. And I've always had that in my mind. Me and B are very different in this aspect too. I've never wanted a real job, ever, not once. I went to school, honestly, because I was an athlete. I wanted to continue my athlete.
Like, this is trash.
Yeah, went to school because I wanted to keep playing volleyball. So that's why I went to school. And I got a communications major because that was the easiest one. And also, it was the field that my dad works in. So like, whenever I graduated college, I was expecting to like just get that job with my dad and like successful in PR and like be doing all this stuff with sports and the media.
All right. Okay. So these are my worries. People who are worried and maybe don't agree with you are scared because they don't think they could do it. They are worried because they're uneducated. But baby, I ain't uneducated. That's not why I'm roasting you. That's not why. It's because I am educated that I'm exposing you and these lies. So the girl on the bottom says in this video later on, whenever, I don't know, she says that she has 2 little babies. I don't know if they're little, but 2 children. And she had one of them. She's like, oh, I had one of them young at like 22. And she was saying that her dad, and y'all probably just heard it, but she was saying that her dad was worried because she was like, I want to go into real estate. And he's like, you can't get benefits in real estate. And I'm sure the reason why he was saying that was, you have a child, you need to secure a benefit and be able to just do that, you know? And what can you do that with? Let's all say it together. What gives you benefits and a secure paycheck every 2 weeks? A 9-to-5 job, whether it's corporate, the devil's anus, right? Corporate or not, doesn't matter. You'll most likely you'll get benefits and a stable paycheck every 2 weeks. Some people's pay periods are different, but you get it. So I just think it's funny that she's like, oh, well, Dad, if I'm making bank, then I'll be able to, you know, pay for health insurance. Health insurance is expensive. I don't know what type of, especially if you get it through the marketplace, or as some people call it, Obamacare. If you get it through the marketplace and you're self-pay for insurance, especially if you have 2 fucking kids like this girl does, that's going to be expensive for you unless you get the shittiest plan possible. Which, I mean, if you have kids, you shouldn't get the shittiest plan. I mean, you should get a good plan. Kids are gremlins. They're going to get hurt and sick and they're snotty and gross, right? They're also little angels. Shut up. I just find that very ignorant. But then also, both these girls are very young. And I'm not saying you're going to be young and dumb and, you know, everyone who's young is immature and uneducated. No, I'm not saying that. Now, these 2 girls, it's annoying. It's annoying.
Never wanted a real job. Ever. Not once. I went to school, honestly, because I was an athlete. I wanted to continue my athlete.
Like, this is trash.
Yeah. Went to school because I wanted to keep playing volleyball. So that's why I went to school, and I got a communications major because that was the easiest one. And also, it was the field that my dad works in. So like, whenever I graduated college, I was expecting to like just get that job with my dad and like successful in PR and like be doing all this stuff with sports and the media and that kind of stuff. That's what I expected for myself because he did it, just like you were saying, right? You get it from your parents. So whenever I graduated college, got pregnant, and was like, all of a sudden just doing the opposite of what everybody expected for me, I did have a moment of like, oh my God, am I a failure? Like, I'm just like failing completely at life, like on this downward spiral or whatever. Then I realized, okay, I don't ever want a job. Like, I realized that I was like, I don't like the control they have over you. I have an issue with being told what to do. If somebody tells me what to do, I'm like, not about to do it. I'm like about to like, just look at them in the face and be like, okay, and not do it. Right. And so the control that jobs have over you, like what your mom was saying, like how a job really can text you a job can like tell you you can't work another side job, right? They can tell you that, and that's crazy to me. Why are you in control of all of my money? You're paying me and you're not allowing me to make extra money. That's crazy. If I want to make extra money, clearly you're not paying me enough. But if I'm gone tomorrow, like if you fire me, you're not going to figure it out for me. So why are you in control of my entire life? I've always had a problem with that. So I've never had a regular job. So every time I keep doing these little things, my dad was like, okay, but like, when are you going to figure it out? And Monat was when I was able to just prove it to him. Like, look, you know, I figured it out. Now my dad jokes. Now my same dad who was like telling me about how much of a freaking crazy person I was when I got pregnant with my second child or whatever, we were fine. And he was still like, how am I going to afford this? I was like, you don't pay for my life or whatever. But my dad now jokes about being my assistant when he retires. And I'm like, I know.
So that last part's kind of cute, how her dad like jokes about that. But realistically, like with anyone, you want to see like the money, right? It's like, okay, clearly like, you're fine. You can clearly make this work, right? So I think that's important, but also like that's cute, whatever, sure. But again, great that you're making money and able to take care of your 2 kids and make your dad proud, but where's that money coming from? And then also what really just got me is how she said, I've never wanted a real job. Like the level, I feel like we haven't talked about it in a while, but the level of entitlement that Monat just spews. And I don't even want to say Monat, but really that's, I mean, they condone this behavior, clearly. Otherwise these girls wouldn't, like, they wouldn't allow it. I mean, they don't care about it. They just want money. But I've never wanted a real job. I've never wanted to do this. Oh, I never found my purpose until I did this. And I don't want anyone telling me what to do. Your upline tells you what to do. I don't want anyone to have control over me. Monat has control over you. And your downline controls your paycheck. So, and then the fact that she said that she only stayed in college because she wanted to keep being an athlete and that she just got a communications degree because it was the easiest one. Like that I'm like annoyed about, but then I kind of get it as well, because when I actually end up finishing my degree, which is going to be forever from now, but when I actually finish it, I'm probably just going to get a degree in psychology because it's easy and I easy for me and I truly enjoy that. But then also, she said, I don't like control. I don't like being told what to do. Your job can tell you can't work another side job. They can only tell you that if it's a conflict of interest, if it's going to impede with your other job. For instance, if it's a night shift and then you come in all groggy the next day, if it's for a competitor, if like it's for, again, like a conflict of interest, like you're working for a company and then you work for a marketing company. And then because you work there, you kind of finagle things so that your company, works through them like a vendor or something. That is a conflict of interest and you can't do that. Other than that, they can't tell you that you have to quit a side hustle or a side job or anything like that. They can't do that. It's just you can already tell I'm getting really annoyed. It's the delusion and the clear lack of life experience. And you could say, oh, she's had 2 kids already, like she has life experience. No, I understand being a mother. That's amazing. Wish that could happen for me. All in God's time. Don't be weird. It's fine. But like, they are young and this is all they've done. This girl even said, and she's about to say it in a minute again, that she tried out real estate and it didn't work out. She tried out having a YouTube channel. It didn't work out. And then she did Monat and now it's worked out. And it's like, okay. Like if I joined Monat, I would make a fuck ton of money. But I also have morals and a soul. So I can't do that.
Mom does too. My mom is always like, okay, so once you hit AED, I could quit my job and then I can handle shipping out gifts to she's like, I'll handle everything. She's like, I'll move flex ships for you. She's like, you can hire me and your sister. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, for sure. You'll be my executive assistant.
You're like, oh, you want to work for me now? Okay, whatever. Like
my mom's like, we can get a gym membership. We had this actual conversation a couple of days ago. She's like, we can get a gym membership and we can do yoga together because she knows I've been doing yoga up here. So it's like, use, it's like what you were saying, you know, and I like that you said that it's not necessarily that they're a hater or anything like that. It's that they're scared for you, and it's because you're doing something that they would never be brave enough to do. And sometimes it's easier to talk negatively about something, or even people who are haters, because I was a big time hater, and I could be honest now and say this, and it's obviously embarrassing, but I say it because it's the truth, and I'm sure people will relate to it. But I was a hater before I joined Monat. I was one of those mean girls. I was like, oh my God, did you see? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I'm so afraid of like getting people, what do you do when people DM you mean things? And I'm like, honestly, I've really never experienced a lot of hate. I really haven't. On the contrary, especially when I first started, I got a lot more support than anything else. But at the end of the day, like, I can't get mad at anyone who does hate, because I know it comes from a place of insecurity, and it comes from a place of ignorance. A lot of times they don't really know what they're talking about. So, you know.
Okay, so I always say, do not go find these people. Even if it's not someone in my videos, if you see someone shilling an MLM, being manipulative, anything like that, for the love of God, please just ignore them. Don't do that. Don't do that. You being rude about their MLM, which of course, you criticizing the MLM is not criticizing them. I don't know why these people get so crazy about an employer. Why are you that loyal? They don't fucking care about you. They'll cut you in a minute and not care at all, because they are making so much money, it doesn't matter. I don't know. This is just crazy to me. You know? What'd she even say? I already forgot. So like I said, please don't reach out to these people. Please don't go into their DMs. Whatever you're saying, just whether it's negative against them, don't be that person. Or whether it's negative against the MLM or MLMs in general, or pyramid schemes or cults or anything, that just pushes them further into it. What you could do instead is we could try to save the people who haven't yet been recruited, okay? I don't want to say that's my goal here, but ideally, listen, I have people reach out to me every single day saying, my friend's in this, how can I get her out? Can you message her? And I'm like, no, I'm not messaging your friend. First of all, that's weird. Second of all, if they want to get out, then they have to want help, and they have to want to get out to actually get out. They have to see the truth, right? Themselves. Us telling them about them and sharing these indisputable facts and reports and studies is not going to get them out unless they want to, okay? So please, for the love of God, don't do that. You're gonna lose a friend. I tell you this all the time. Do not engage, okay?
I feel like it's a lot better for me, rather than waste my energy being upset. Like, it doesn't, why be mad or be hurt? Or, I mean, I'm the one with the blessing right now. You know, they are not. So what I can do that's the healthiest thing for them and for me is to use my platform as best as I can to educate people, just like what was done for me, to educate people, to change their perspective, and more importantly, to help people believe in themselves a little bit more. Because at the end of the day, it's at its core, it's people's belief in themselves. I remember I had this girl, I'll never forget this, okay? I had this girl who she would always post like hater things about MLMs on her social media, about like, oh, like mean things on her social media. But like, this is somebody I knew, okay? And she would always post mean things about MLMs on her social media, but she was always watching me. And then she ended up joining the business, and then she ended up not doing anything with it. Like, she joined, she panicked, and then she ended up quitting.
There is a clear, my voice just cracked. Hello, I'm hitting puberty right in front of your eyes. Okay, let me sit up in my big girl chair for this. My feet aren't even touching the ground. I'm up so high. So the thing is, and I'm sure y'all already know, but there's a clear difference between, like I said, attacking someone personally, don't do that. And then giving them facts and saying, you know, what is what, basically, regarding the MLM. Someone just being a fucking troll and saying rude shit about you personally. Yes, I do agree that that comes from a place of insecurity. I receive a lot of fucking hate. There's a lot of hate. Some of it doesn't come from MLMers. A lot of it does. But for instance, I had someone message me and say, you talk so much shit. Your lips are gross. And first of all, I'm so great. Okay, you're ugly. I'm ugly? Bitch, I'm gorgeous. Shut the fuck up. And saying like, you're so uneducated. You're so stupid. Your marriage is failing, blah, blah. And it's like, but failing where? And me and Anthony are very happy. Ooh, calling him Anthony sounds weird. Me and Tony are very happy. And that, you know, comes in with the, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then also the insecurities. Why are you going to talk about someone else's marriage when you don't know, one, what you're talking about? You're not here with us. And then also, listen, there's got to be deep down, rooted down, right on in there, all the way down there to the center of the core of whatever we're talking about, has to be some, you know, either jealousy or insecurity, or you're just mad at yourself. And maybe it is cognitive dissonance to where I'm showing you all of these facts that completely contradict everything that you believe with your soul about this MLM and about your side hustle and about your full-time hustle, whatever the fuck it is. And then the only thing you can do is come at me with some middle school or elementary school insult, like your lips are dry. Where? Well, you're ugly and your hair looks like shit. Where? Also, was that what we were talking about? No, it wasn't. All of that doesn't change the fact, all those insults doesn't change the fact that you are in a cult and a pyramid scheme, babe. Let's talk facts. Let's talk about it. Instead of the, hey, I'm pretty sure this MLM is a pyramid scheme. Your mom's a pyramid scheme. We weren't talking about Linda, but thanks.
I feel like it's a lot better for me rather than waste my energy being upset. Like it doesn't, why be mad or be hurt? Or, I mean, I'm the one with the blessing right now. You know, they are not. So what I can do that's the healthiest thing for them and for me is to use my platform as best as I can to educate people, just like what was done for me, to educate people, to change their perspective, and more importantly, to help people believe in themselves a little bit more. Because at the end of the day,
I'm all for using your platform to educate people. However, spreading misinformation is not educating people. It's not at all. Later in this video, they're going to give false facts. Some of my favorite ones that they've just completely misconstrued. I don't know why they think that memes and pretty graphics that someone makes of like girls in tutus walking down a cobblestone road is facts. It's not. Where's your source? You don't have one because there isn't one, because it's bullshit. Thank you. That was the tiniest little sip ever. Okay, there we go.
It's at its core, it's people's belief in themselves. I remember I had this girl, I'll never forget this, okay? I had this girl who she would always post like hater things about MLMs on her social media, about like, oh, like mean things on her social media. But like, this is somebody I knew, okay? And she would always post mean things about MLMs on her social media, but she was always watching me. And then she ended up joining the business, and then she ended up not doing anything with it. Like she joined, she panicked, and then she ended up quitting. And then like a year later, after watching me and watching me and watching me, she like wanted to rejoin. And she's like, you know, I let it get to my head back then. Like,
okay, right now she's talking about someone who, and I had to skip forward because this is going to be way too long, but right now she's talking about someone who used to post hater things about MLMs on her Instagram and on her Instagram story, and then the person would always watch her story, but then said person joined under her, but then got scared and quit and like never did anything with it, and then a year later she wanted to join again, and that's, I just caught you up. That's what she's talking about.
I regret that so much, blah, blah, blah. I was really so worried about what people were going to think about me, but I want this lifestyle. And I told her, I was like, you know, but why are you afraid of what people are going to think about you? Like, when you look at me, like, what do you think of me? Like, do you think what I'm doing is lame? Because I don't think what I'm doing is lame. And she's like, no. She's like, honestly, I don't really even know anyone who hates on network marketing. She's like, I think I just say it in my head. And I'm like, exactly. Yeah. So many people create this whole fake reality, and like they tell themselves this story that's not even real before they even start, and it holds them back from accomplishing great things. Like everybody is capable of accomplishing huge things in their life, but most people never do because they're so afraid of what other people are going to say about them or think about them. And it's like, if you wouldn't give that person access to your bank account, why are you giving them so much access to your life decisions at the end of the day? You know, like, this is your life. You go to sleep with your decisions. Yeah. And my mom, when we...
Cute. So she was so scared of what people would think, but she wanted the lifestyle. Baby, the lifestyle is fake. The lifestyle is fake. You're not going to get that lifestyle. You're going to be on these calls, working constantly, yelling about how you have time freedom. Notice how they never say free time. Constantly tethered to your phone. Might as well just sew that bitch in your hand. This kills me. And then she said, I don't even know anyone who hates on MLMs. And they're both nodding like, yeah, no one does. No one. Hi, ladies. I would like for you to meet my 26,000 subscribers. Mostly all of them hate MLMs. A lot of people hate MLMs. Every single person I know in my life does not like network marketing. No matter what name you call it. Social selling, network marketing, direct sales, multi-level marketing, a cult, a pyramid scheme. No one likes those except for the people who are in them and profiting off. And then she said that people make up a false reality in their head. No, I don't. That's you. You do.
Sucks. I know that people are getting sick. I know that people are losing their jobs. I know that all these things are going on, but honestly, for my family, like my husband is now able to stay at home. My business is able to go off because I now have help here at my house because he's working from home. Now I can take control of my business, right? This was when I was like in that in-between stage of MMB and MM, right? And so I was saying that. I was like, saying I'm going to do great things in this business in this time.
So here's the thing. So she's just talking about how during basically spring of 2020, she was posting about how she's so happy that she can work from home and support her family and do all this and that, right? But during an economic crisis and a global pandemic, yes, that, and especially when it just started and so many people were losing their jobs, that is very insensitive and fucked up to post about that. But further than that, she wasn't just posting about her like good news or things like that, right? It wasn't like, for instance, me during my like quarantine vlogs where I was laid off and I was fucking unemployed and Tony was still working and I was like, I'm so thankful for him. Like I'm able to focus on YouTube and, do stuff around the house and, he's working and I'm just like basically waiting for a fucking unemployment check, blah, 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 like all that stuff, right? That's different than her recruiting people. She didn't just post that to be sentimental, to be happy, to show gratitude, which is what they love to say. She was posting that to recruit people. They wouldn't post shit like that unless they had to recruit people, which they do, especially to hit rank. You cannot hit ranks without recruiting people. That's with any MLM. So it's kind of obnoxious that she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry that I offended this person, blah, 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 whatever, because that's not a hate comment. That's someone genuinely saying, hey, it's really fucked up that you posted this. And yeah, it is. Now, I also want to make it clear, you are allowed to post happy things during this time, right? We all need a little bit of joy. We all need to find happiness. That's why I love whenever people I follow share like the funniest TikToks that they find on Instagram stories. I love that because like just that shit makes me laugh, or like sending those to people. Like I'm obsessed with that. Brings me joy. However, that's not what she was doing, okay? We need to enjoy every little sliver of happiness that we can right now because for a lot of people, it's few and far between. Again, that doesn't apply here because that's not what she was doing. She was only posting that because she was trying to recruit people into her MLM during a global pandemic and an economic crisis. So fuck her.
I'm so sorry that I offended you, blah, blah, blah. Then she sent me all these articles about how predatory MLMs are and how awful they are and whatever. And I'm just like, first of all, I have my idea about who decided that MLMs are predatory. Like, I really feel like that was a man decided like term because like most women millionaires are in MLMs. And so like,
first of all, men did not decide that MLMs are predatory. Men created MLMs. I might have to stop this video and go eat some leftover chili or something because I'm getting so frustrated. Like as a woman, as anybody, but like if you identify as a woman and you think this, I hope your vagina falls off. Or privates, whatever you have, I don't care. If an MLMer comes to me and, wants help, I'm not going to be rude to them. I always want to make that clear. Like, I'm not going to make you feel like a dick. Also, fuck these girls, though, because they suck. And y'all know my least favorite quote that they butcher. She, fucked it up to, a 14th degree. So what she said, what she has said, was most women millionaires are in MLM. Excuse me. None of the millionaires that I know that are females have ever been in an MLM. Thanks. Also, though, she fucked up the version of the correct one that they usually fuck up. So that's what she said. Most women who are millionaires are in MLMs. It's fucking false. It's so false. Look at the numbers. Less than 0.001% of women in MLMs are millionaires. That's a correct statistic. But how would that make sense with all the women millionaires in the world? It doesn't, because it's not real. So what the real statistic is that I believe it's 60 or 80%. I think it's 80%. I want to say it's like 80%. Don't quote me on it, but you'll understand the gist of the quote, okay? At least I'm saying that I'm probably wrong with the numerical value of this quote or of this statistic. So 80% of people in MLM who are making over 6 figures are women. It's a statistic about the gender, not the amount of money they're making, okay? Now, the way they fuck it up is instead of saying whatever percentage of people in MLMs who are making over 6 figures are women, they say 80% of women making 6 figures are in MLMs. They literally just flipped it. They just flipped it and read it fucking backwards. That's usually what they say. This girl was like, fuck it, we're millionaires. Like, no, you can't just make up statistics. That's not how that works.
Who doesn't want women to be millionaires, right?
Not a lie.
Exactly. Like, who made this curriculum that's telling people that? Men, right? I'm a man hater, so I love men, obviously, because my husband, but
it's not men. It's people who have been victimized by MLMs and just history itself showing that that's what MLMs do.
You know, sometimes I think they don't have our side. But a year ago, she sent me this message about how predatory it was and how awful I was for talking how my life was going to change with my MLM and people really are losing their jobs and blah. Now today, I have at least 10 women on my team who lost their job to COVID and are making exactly that full-time income that they were making with their jobs or more, making that because they started then, right? Now my team has tripled what we were going for in that month. And that month I couldn't even hit 30K. That's crazy. This year we've tripled the volume, which means more people on my team.
You know what I hear? I'm sure y'all hear it too. She said, now I have more women on my team who are, doing this full time, which it's pre-tax, so I'm sure it doesn't match up. During spring of 2020, during the height of everything happening and people losing their jobs. So that means that you recruited all those people, and if they're so successful, they recruited a lot of other people who had also lost their jobs. So not only were you recruiting people during a pandemic, and during a very vulnerable time for all these people, financially, emotionally, physically, they also did the same thing. So all I'm hearing is that y'all just took advantage of a fuck ton of people. That's all I'm hearing. Instead of, oh my God, we helped so many people. How many people lost money? How many people quit after a month, a week, 6 months? How many people lost money under you? That's what I want to know. What's your failure rate, girl? What is it?
Are making money, right? More people are doing big things. So when I said that, it wasn't saying about myself. It was saying about how many people can change their lives by joining this. And that's exactly what happened. And so it was hilarious to look back at one person who was hating on my business and what they said and where I am now and probably where she is now, right? Like, that's just crazy. Exactly what I said was going to happen happened. But I had something else. Hold on. I don't even remember, but yeah.
I say this all the time. I'm like super proud to say this, but anyone who has messaged me something hateful has always ended up either joining me or has ended up buying products from me at some point. I swear to God. And
that's false. That's false. That's wrong.
I think it comes from that. Like, you can be mean to people, but I've never been mean to anyone who sends me anything mean. I mean, on the contrary, at the end of the day, it's all about perspective, right? People only understand things to their level of perception or perspective. So a lot of times it's important for you to try and understand where they're coming from and help them see something, help them see differently. Because, your whole life, you're conditioned to look at things X, Y, Z. So you can't blame people when they have these weird perceptions and stuff, because you have to ask yourself, like, what made them have that sort of opinion? What did they read?
Let's all look real deep inside of ourselves. What made us have this opinion of MLMs are predatory. Pyramid schemes are unethical. It's a cult culture. What made us have this opinion? Experience, testimonials, studies, facts. I can't stand when they're like, oh, you're conditioned and you're, they try to act like we're brainwashed. We're not brainwashed, you're brainwashed.
Who did they hear from? Where did they experience that from? So instead of getting emotional about it, you can look at it objectively and try and help them see something differently. When COVID happened, same thing happened to me, except this was someone who I really cared about. This was one of my bestest friends in the world messaged me something that wasn't like she wasn't being mean, but she was just like, oh, I expected more from you. She's like, how could you be promoting your business and stuff like this? Same thing. People are dying. Like, this is insensitive or something like that. And, she basically took my words and twisted it to fit her perception. And it really upset me. And
nope. Sorry that I'm eating chili, but I just realized that it's 6 p.m. Good God. I don't know why. I thought it was 3. I was supposed to go pick up my prescription today, and I didn't, and I just yelled at myself in the kitchen. And then I realized I haven't eaten all day because I've been filming. Ugh. I'm just kidding. I love it, obviously, or else I wouldn't do it. So she just said that someone said, how dare you promote your business at this time? People are dying, blah, blah. So then this girl said that her friend was twisting her words to fit her perception. First of all, no, that's what you're doing right now. And also, it's not that you're promoting shampoo. If it was your own business and you were promoting it, no, we would not have a problem with that, because if you were an actual business owner, we'd understand. I've literally made the change. Obviously, I spend way too much money at Target. Y'all get that. However, if I can get something from a local place instead, I will. One of my best friends owns a shop here in South Tampa called Sweet Southern Chic. It's on Beta Bay. It's amazing. Now when I need joggers or literally anything clothing wise, I will go to her store to support her, because I know 2020 was a fucking rough time for her. It's just crazy. They see it as, I'm promoting my business. No, that's not what we're saying. If it was your business, there'd be nothing wrong with you promoting it. Even if it was just you promoting the shampoo, because that's your job, but that's not what you're doing. She's leaving out the fact that she was probably trying to recruit people, which is what they're always doing, because apparently the products sell themselves, right? Okay. If that's true, really true, which it's not, then all you're doing is just recruiting people into your pyramid scheme. So that's really frustrating that she just said that.
I took that and I thought about it, and then I went on my stories and I talked about it afterward, and I was like, it's not my responsibility to convince anybody of anything. If your parents, if your spouse wasn't happy doing anymore, that didn't align with her life anymore, you know, and I'm like, I'll never shut up about this business, and it's not my responsibility. I could give 3 shits about who I offend or who thinks. I don't care. I don't show up for you. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I'm talking about, you don't have to follow me. You don't have to watch my stories. Truly, if you do, I think that you secretly are obsessed with me, or you secretly want to join. That's literally what I think, because I show up the way I.
She said, I will never shut up about this business. And do you want to know why? Because that's how you're marketing to try to recruit people. It's all to just recruit people. And I don't think they understand how weird that is. It's so weird.
My career, I didn't pick a career path that really has that greater impact on anything, And I feel like that was something I was really missing, that I was able to get from this business. In this business.
Translation, I'm manipulating someone.
Yeah, or who is like myself, because I do that all the time. Sometimes I'll have to text B and be like, okay, what, am I too mean? Am I too this? But you know what? I don't care. I'll get on my stories and I'll literally talk about people who talk about this business, people who do this, people who do that, how I don't ever want to work a job, whatever. I'm not talking crap about your job, but I don't want to work it. And I'm looking for like myself to join my team to do things that I'm doing with me.
I'm on my story. Ooh, I just swallowed a flake of pepper and I might die. Oh, y'all ever do that? Listen, people don't think that that pepper is spicy. until you swallow a flake by itself, and then we need to call an ambulance or just go straight to jail. Now, she also said, I'm not on here talking crap about your 9 to 5. Yes, y'all are. You are. And then she also said, I'm always thinking like, oh, am I being too rude? And don't get me wrong, when you're in a creative space, when you're making money on a platform, it is good to, check yourself sometimes. But also, there's a huge difference between the way they act and the way they present themselves. They, not all of them, but a huge majority of them, right? If you are trying to recruit someone, let's just go with the narrative that they say. If you're trying to convince someone to be business partners with you, why would you shit on the job that they have? Why would you be immature and disrespectful and ignorant? Why would you feel the need to come on that platform every single day and defend the fact that your MLM is not a scam or it's not a pyramid scheme? Your business, sorry, I forgot we were going with their narrative, that your business isn't a pyramid scheme or a scam. If you have to go on the defense so much, I hate to tell you this, it's probably a pyramid scheme or a scam. For instance, whenever people are like, you're so mean, you're, ruining the anti-MLM community, you're a bitch, you're racist. First of all, fuck out of here with that, okay? You're not being inclusive. I was about to say you're homosexual. Ding! You're homophobic. I'm bisexual. Thank you. When people come at me with all this bullshit and shit that's clearly wrong, it's wrong. So I'm not gonna sit. I mean, I might, if someone actually says like, hey, I love your videos, but blah, 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 like, did you whatever? And I can clarify something for you, but I'm not gonna defend myself regarding bullshit. Why would I? That's a waste of my time. And Margaret Angel shared, I know I've mentioned this more than once before, but Margaret Angel shared this graphic on Instagram like last month, I think, and it has just stuck with me since then. And it said, let them be wrong. You have nothing to prove. And that's true. If something's not true, and like you've already clarified it with one person or whoever, then great. Move on. The people who actually like you and the people who actually support you aren't going to care about that. People who know you, people know the truth. But with this is different because they are constantly attempting to overcome the objection that they are in a pyramid scheme. And they are hilariously failing at it.
Right? But yeah, like there's so many people whose lives have changed in this business that I don't care what you have to say. I don't care for those people who come up to us and they're like, only 2% of the people who join MLMs make money. Bleh! Bye. Only 5%. I just posted that on my story today. Only 5% of the world are rich. Like only 5% of the world.
When people say that whole only 2%, I'm like, okay, girl. I'm like, so what percentage do you have at being the CEO of the company you work for right now?
0. You'll never own the company because somebody already else owns it, right? Because
there's a difference between being the CEO of a company and being the owner of a company. Sometimes it can be the same person, but many times for what they are specifically referencing for like a corporate company, usually it's different. And then she also said, only 2% of people make money, blah, blah, blah. She didn't overcome that objection. She came at it with a completely different statistic that doesn't matter. Only 2% of people in MLMs make money. Okay, well, only 5% of people in the world are rich. Okay? That would be like someone saying, did you know that only 30% of humans have blue eyes? And then me being like, yeah? Well, only 50% of living creatures in the world are humans. That statistic's obviously wrong, but do you get what I'm saying? It's like, girl, that's not what we're talking about. How is that your rebuttal? Not only do you suck, your rebuttal sucks.
Not 5%, and I'm trying to be there. That's where I want to be. I don't want to have to ask somebody to stay at home. I don't want to have to ask somebody to go on a vacation. I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to sit at a desk and type out words for somebody all day long. I don't want to do it. I have no interest in doing it. And
has she ever had a real job? I don't think she has with what she just said. I don't want to have to ask someone to take a vacation. I mean, usually you're not just going on vacation on a whim. right? Like usually for like planning shit out, especially like economically, you want to face shit out like 6 weeks. You got to plan for shit. But then typically, I mean, like what? I don't want to sit at a desk and type out words. That's what you do at a job, right? Girl, I can guarantee you that in the amount of time that this girl has been in Monat, I want to say it's 2 years. I think it's probably like 3. No, it's probably like 2.5 years by now. Either way, I don't know. But in that amount of time, she has definitely typed out more words, even if it's not at a desk. It might be on her phone, since they love to work from their phone. I don't want to stare at a small ass screen all day. No, thank you. She has definitely written out, typed words for someone, because apparently that's all you do at a job. I just don't want to type out words for someone. She's done more of that and typed out more words in 2.5 years or however long she's been in an MLM than I have since I have worked in corporate America. I was in sales before that, retail, but let's see, 23? Yeah, 23. I started in corporate America. So yeah, she's definitely typed out more words than I have, like professionally speaking. It's the lack of experience for me. Like, what do their resumes look like? Have they ever had a resume? I understand that, it's different than it was when our parents were younger. A lot of people grew up with a single income household. Only one parent worked. A lot of us stayed home with either a dad or a mom. Some people didn't. But then, before then, the generation before, that usually was the case, right? Me and Tony were both very blessed to where his mom stayed home and my mom stayed home. I want that to happen for us too. We are very adamant about that. That's why I'm posting as many videos as I can. Please love me. So that I can save up as much as I can before we have kids, and then I can stay home and do this, hopefully. The thing is, though, is I get it. It's different than it used to be. The times have changed. But also, what's wrong with having a normal job? What's wrong with having a steady income? Why does everyone want to be a millionaire? It's not going to make you happy. You're still going to be crazy. Also, it's not going to happen in an MLM. I cannot wait until Monat crashes and burns. Should we have a party when that happens? They'll all probably just join another MLM, honestly, and then we'll just have to take down the next one.
But I'm just saying, like, that's not where I am, right? So why is there so much hate on this side, and nobody's like bashing people who have 9-to-5 jobs? Wow, you just like work a person for 8 hours of your life, and like you just your whole life for 65 years. Like, what? Like, nobody's sitting here telling people that that's a scam, because people respect it, but they don't.
The fact that she's looking down at notes makes me want to throw my computer out a window. And y'all can't see it. I wish you could. But the girl above her is like, she looks real not happy. She's just like, bitch, are you done? Also the fact that she said, there's no hate from this side to 9-to-5s. Have you looked at TikTok? Have you looked at Reels? That's all it is. All they're doing is hating on 9-to-5s, babe. That's all they're doing. And then the whole mentality of, oh, you're working for 65 years. Some people retire sooner. Also, a lot of people don't just stay at the same job for their entire life. Some people save up a lot more money and are able to then, go down to part-time or retire early. Like, a lot of people don't hate their job. And also, like I always say, and y'all know this is what I push constantly, and no, it's not an MLM or drugs, like a drug pusher. Your job is not your purpose. Your job is not what determines your worth. Your job is what pays your bills. You and what you do and what you enjoy and the difference you make, the time you spend with your friends and the time you spend with your family, the jokes you have with them, the connections you make, what you stand for, that determines your worth. You yourself determine your worth, not the avenue in which you go to get money. When will they learn this? Never, because it's a cult.
Like, people not going back to their jobs and stuff like that. And something that a lot of people don't realize is through this business, you get so much more than kind of talked about it earlier, but I found my passion through this business. The reason Monat worked for me and real estate didn't, and any of the other things, you guys YouTube channel at one time, but I was like, it's too much, But if I stayed consistent with it, maybe I would have been famous by now. Maybe I would have been making millions of dollars on YouTube, right? The reason Monat worked out for me is because I found a passion through it. And the passion that I found is helping people do what I've done. I watched my life change the day after I joined. I was one of those people who joined and I was like, oh, products for my hair. Like, we'll see if I do anything with it. I was so scared that I was never going to make a sale. I was good at content. I was never going to, whatever. I had all these limiting beliefs about myself. The day I joined, I got on a Real Deal call with Bianca, Joe, high uplines. And the way they were speaking, I was like, wow. Like, wow, I can be you guys. And also just learning about their story.
That's literally the only reason these high up uplines will get on a call, is so that they will be able to manipulate you into staying in the MLM and not quitting, so that they can motivate you. So there's this group on Facebook, and I think it's like Evolve or Remain or some shit, and it's literally all of the SEDs or whoever, like the director level people with Monat. And they will do like multiple times a week, they will do calls for the people in this group. And sometimes it's like, okay, I've been sent a few of them, and sometimes it's not horrible like advice, and I like that. Like, there have been like Reels trainings and like certain other like social media trainings and stuff, which I'm like, that's important. I love that. A majority of it is complete bullshit, and it's always the same when it's that type of manipulative cult meeting. It's super hopeful, and then it gets real dark for a minute and like aggressive. And then it's like, okay, take that with what you will. Goodbye. It's horrible, but that's what they do. They get the high up people to join these calls for like the super low people, so that their retention or rebound rate, whatever you want to call it, is not high, so that people will stay. Because the people who drop off, for instance, if I have a team and I have 3 girls or 4 girls under me, and then I am one of, let's say, 8 girls under my upline, okay? If 3 of the girls who I just recruited out of the 4 quit, then that affects my upline, and my upline's upline, and my upline's upline. It affects everyone. With a pyramid, if you take one little stone out, it's not going to have that big of an impact on it. Now, if you take 4 out from the bottom, shit gets wobbly, okay? And the more people who quit on the bottom at that same level, y'all probably know each other, you talk, whatever, then more people are going to be like, wait, why did they... what? Then more get out, and then it crumbles. That's why they do that. They want you to stay in. Do they actually care if you are successful? Only because it makes them successful. Look at people's motives. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any cringiness that you would like me to react to, please definitely send it over. In this case, the person who sent this to me sent me over they sent the IGTV to me, and then also they screen recorded, like, it was so cute. She screen recorded like 3, they have to be under a minute for you to be able to send it through Instagram DMs, but she screen recorded 3 like separate minute long just like bits of cringe to me, and then I watched them and I was like, oh shit, that's a good one. So definitely do that, or like tell me in the DM, you know, be like, hey, this girl literally said this, or like, this one's horrible, she said this. Because sometimes people send me things and like they aren't that bad, and like that wouldn't make for a good video of me being like, I mean, that wasn't that bad. Oh boy, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't a good Mickey. I need to work on my Mickey. Enough wine, Chelsea. I need to go to sleep. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Let them know. Please help me get to 30,000. I try real hard. I'm uploading as much as I can and just marketing the shit out of myself. So share with your friends, get your friends to subscribe. I would appreciate it if y'all could help me get to 30,000 subscribers. My goal by the end of the year is to get to 50,000. That's real scary, but yeah, follow me on Instagram. I share funny things, unfiltered things. Sometimes I like go off, and I share the cringy DMs that people send me as well. Not like you guys, but like MLMers and then hate comments and stuff. I always think it's hilarious to share those because people are stupid. Okay, well, I'll see you in my next video, unless it's Sunday, because I don't post on Sundays, and then because like that's the day of rest. So I love you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.